we take our position of being the trust technology to drive the future of work very seriously. Being at Facebook as the first employee, Facebook had less than 8 million people on its platform, and India had less than 100 million people on the internet. And I remember in those early Facebook days, we used to ask people, are you on the internet? They would say no. Are you on Facebook? They would say yes. I saw the stat that of all of the founders in deep tech startups, only 4% were female.
Kirthiga, you mentioned Facebook and how it added strides to your career and connected you with leaders like Sheryl Sandberg and Mark Zuckerberg, right? And you were India's first employee at Facebook and managing director. How did you navigate that, the hurdles that it might have come with, right?
People often ask me, so Kirthiga, how does one become the chair of the Stanford Business School Management Board? And I often tell them, and this is a true story, that it all started with organizing chips and salsa for 3 people. Okay.
You being in India right now and the AI boom taking over Silicon Valley, and now India is all in, especially Bangalore and HSR layout where we are in. This is called the Silicon Valley of India, right? What opportunities do you see for the Indian AI ecosystem at this point? And what work do you think is still pending in terms of us reaching that level where we're unstoppable?
Swati, I have been blown away by the level of investment, the level of energy around AI in India.
Today, we have someone iconic with us, a trailblazer in tech, a bold investor in women-led startups, and someone who's building the future of verification and trust in the age of AI. She was Facebook India's first employee and managing director and a partner at SoftBank. And she's now the co-founder and CEO of Verix, which is used by Netflix and global nonprofits alike. Welcome, Kirthiga. We're so honored to have you on the AI for India podcast.
So excited to be here. So excited for how you are leading AI for India. And I'm excited for this conversation.
Thank you so much. And I'm super excited for our viewers to get as inspired as I am from your journey. You have worked in India and then all the way in Silicon Valley now. How has your journey been like? If you want to share a little bit.
Swati, I think of myself as a builder at heart. And the first decade of my building was on the engineering side. First, my undergraduate in India, and then my master's in the United States. Worked for Silicon Graphics, which was at that time the OpenAI of its time.
Wow.
It was a high-performance computing company at the heart of major innovations like the Human Genome Project, landing on Mars, making of Jurassic Park. And then fast forward, Swati, they say that today's Gen Z, they're going to have 5 to 7 careers in their lifetime. We are not talking jobs, we're talking about careers, right? I am no Gen Z, but I think I'm always ahead of my times, and I have had those 5 to 7 careers.
Perfect.
So whether it is the engineer, then moving to a business leader after my MBA at Stanford, then coming to India, actually with a startup. I was working with a startup that was acquired by Motorola, and I came to India with my two girls who were then 3 and 5, wonderfully supporting husband, thinking we were coming for a year and a half, loved India, and then Facebook. And then, the rest of my journey. So I truly feel blessed about the kind of things that I've been able to work on, the kind of people that I get to work with, including this conversation with you. And I also firmly believe that my best is yet to come.
It is, definitely. I stand by that because I have been inspired by your journey for a long time. And as I said, I'm so honored to have you here in the hot seat today. So Kirthiga, next I would like to understand more about what inspired you to start Verix, right? In today's era of how everything is AI powered, it's very essential to have a trusted source that is verifying your AI credentials, right? And you are a trailblazer in that space with Verix. So what inspired you to start it?
Yeah, so I have seen the power of AI in its many incarnations, whether it is when my role at Facebook in India, AI ML was essential for areas like detecting hate speech on the platform. So, one of Facebook's 4 global operations offices was in India, and that was a big task, was to keep the site safe and trusted. And without AI, we just could not have been able to do that. Right?
Yeah.
So that, and then fast forward in my role as the first female investment partner at SoftBank Vision Fund, the thesis was that AI is changing every industry as we know it. So deployed $1 billion for them across fast-moving sectors: quantum computing, additive manufacturing, mental wellness, gaming, blockchain. And then that led me to 3 years after SoftBank. I deployed $1 billion, seen companies go public, and worked with the most exceptional founders across the globe. I saw this next new wave of AI, and I saw what was happening with blockchain. And that led me to say, again, going back to the builder in me, that it's time to go back again. I also saw the stats. Sometimes stats have a way of sticking with you. I saw the stat that of all of the founders in deep tech startups, only 4% were female. That number I kept waking up to that number and then thinking, okay, if not now, when? If not me, who? I would say that was another driver of me getting back and jumping back into the building seat. And sometimes, by the way, I think I look around at the hardest thing I haven't done and say, I have to go do it. So here we are with Verix. It first started actually as a platform where we were going to try to target the problem of creator monetization, where given the power of blockchain, and for the first time you have authenticated digital assets, can we help creators get a sustainable source of revenue and be one of their top 3 sources of revenue? But very quickly, the bigger pull we saw was with enterprises needing this verification platform. So the notion of lives and livelihoods continues, but it has transformed into that enterprise version. So you mentioned Netflix. Netflix, for example, use our credentialing platform for a program to train copywriters in the country. Actually, that was an India example. And those credentials then help those copywriters as they were applying for roles, and people, the employer was saying, really, were you really trained by Netflix? How do we know? And it was, those blockchain one click verifiable credentials that was a big part of their journey, that made that ease of doing business and ease of making decisions earlier. And since then, we have worked with Meta, PepsiCo, you mentioned global nonprofits like Room to Read, UNICEF. And so we take our position of being the trust technology to drive the future of work very seriously. And we are excited also about being the source of verified AI skills and AI technology in the country with the kind of work that we're doing.
That is so amazing. And it's very inspiring to understand how it started as a vision for a B2C product and how it evolved to encompass more B2B enterprises as well, right?
And sometimes I keep saying, I've seen this so many times from the investor side that one starts B2C and then realizes that all of the a lot of the transition or the economics is on the enterprise side. And we saw this natural pull.
Exactly, and it was seamless, as you said. So that's
it's the same platform, yes, and it was a beautiful transition.
Cool. And something I would love to understand, as you mentioned, earlier when you started, when Verix started, it was more on the creator side, right? How probably creators within Netflix, how verifying them. And one example I saw, with the course, if someone is taking an AI course, then you give AI verified credentials in terms of certification, etc. So these two I understand. I would love to understand other personas or assets that Verix helps verify.
Yeah, so we do a lot of work on the skilling side, and the tailwind there is micro credentials, because everyone is now in this upskilling mode. So whether it's that, whether it's areas like compliance to memberships. So for example, NASCOM uses the Verix platform for their memberships, for actually, given that we are talking about also women in AI and women in product is another intersection. So they use it for their women in product community as a membership badge. All the way to, I should have worn it today, Colux is a company that does lab-grown diamonds with another incredible woman founder, Priyanka Gill. And so their certificates also are through the Verix platform. The beauty of this being digital, one, of course, is a one-click verification, one-click shareable. It's also the ability to evolve and see your journey over time. And that's patent pending technology, something that we call the living credentials, call it real-time updates. So think about anything where you need a constant update of what is happening. And those are all areas: continued education credits, compliance. So anyone needs a credentialing platform for skills, for compliance, for memberships. We actually end up being used for a lot for events as well. I often say a close cousin of verification is recognition. So people use us for verification. They also use us for just recognition. They might not care that it is true or not, but it's an extra measure of digital recognition that they can share. So everyone from the Asian Academy Awards, where we had a digital replica of their 3D physical awards.
Oh, wow.
So those are all areas from a recognition perspective also that it's used.
Oh, that's really interesting to understand. Thank you for sharing, Kirthiga. You previously mentioned that you've worn various hats, as you started as a product engineer, then a product manager, managing director, investor, and now a founder, right? So how did you navigate these various high stakes transitions?
Sometimes people look at those and feel it is seamless, and I'd say two things. One, I've always found the pattern of, I would almost say just one, listening to yourself, right? When I wake up with a thought more often than not that, oh, this is something that I want to do, I lean in and try to listen to it. Whether it was, I was doing really well. I was one of the youngest directors of engineering at Silicon Graphics. And as part of that, I needed to make a lot of business decisions. And I started enjoying that part more. That took me to say, should I go get a business school degree? And I agonized about the decision. So when you say, how do you navigate those high stakes? It comes with several sleepless nights, several agonizing moments, but then also a community that will help advise you and support you through that. So sticking to the business school example, I remember, should I do part-time? Should I do full-time? Should I do executive? And it was my husband, God bless all amazing partners and husbands, who said, you're thinking about this so much. It's better to just go do it, because it's better to look back and regret having done something that you really wanted versus look back and regret not having done something. And that was really the push that I needed to go ahead and get my degree. And I think of that as one of my biggest business decisions. I'd say the same thing from the, when Facebook happened, it was one of those, this is Facebook, I will take any role in this company. As the advice that Sheryl Sandberg got when she joined Google was, if you're joining a rocket ship, don't ask which seat it is, just get into that rocket ship. And it was a privilege to go build operations for them, and then build sales, and then go back to headquarters, do an emerging markets role. So I'd say one, listen to yourself, surround yourself with community who's going to help. Also know what are the sacrifices you're going to make in order to go after the goals that you have to. And there was one unifying theme in all of this. Is actually one of my favorite Facebook posters. It's a poster that says, what would you do if you weren't afraid? And it's a question that I would love for your audience to think about. What would you do if you weren't afraid?
Yeah, what would you do if you weren't afraid? Something to ponder about for sure. No, that is perfect. Super inspiring, Kirthiga. So Kirthiga, you mentioned Facebook and how it added strides to your career and connected you with leaders like Sheryl Sandberg and Mark Zuckerberg, right? And you were India's first employee at Facebook and managing director. It was definitely a bold move, right? How did you navigate the hurdles that it might have come with, right? So what was that journey like?
Being at Facebook as the first employee and their managing director for India is truly one of those, once in a lifetime or once in several decades. India had Facebook had less than 8 million people on its platform, and India had less than 100 million people on the internet. Right? And today, of course, India is here, and this is not decades and decades ago. We're talking about 14, 15 years ago. And I remember in those early Facebook days, we used to ask people, "Are you on the internet?" They
Okay.
would say no. Are you on Facebook? They would say yes.
Oh, wow.
So what was it like?
And this was in India.
This was
right?
in India.
Yeah.
This was very much in India.
Yeah.
This was, very much in India. Both Mark and Cheryl are visionary leaders in different ways. Mark, in his understanding and his foresight of where the consumer trends are going and what a person wants is just exemplary.
Yeah.
And the decisions that he led, including the purchase of Instagram, and we were already the largest photo sharing site with just Facebook, or the purchase of WhatsApp when we already were one of the largest messaging platforms. Those are all legendary, right? And it's been super inspiring to just listen and absorb how he thinks and the bold decisions that he's willing to make. So that's on one hand. And by the way, one practice that was at Facebook was he used to have every Friday Q&A session, and that used to be replayed across every office. And it was one of the best ways for the company to really stay plugged into the vision and where the strategy, execution, priorities, and the like. It's something that I recommend, for all leaders in various stages. Even when the company was much bigger, he continued to do that. Cheryl is someone who thinks, breathes scale. And her ability to look at a process, optimize it, her ability to understand how to build large businesses where the focus is really on understanding the business problem of what is it that a CEO, a CMO, a sales leader wants to solve, and how is it that we can bring technology, and in this case, advertising, marketing technology, to drive that was a masterclass to see. And another big masterclass from her is her ability to connect with people. Swati, one would meet, I have had so many stories where she would meet someone whom she has met 10 years ago, and she will remember like something about them, a question that was asked.
Yeah.
The genuineness in understanding people and connecting with people was exemplary. Swati, you and I were just in a class, and Vivek Punjabi was one of the attendees there. I remember he came into work once with his 1-year-old baby home, and he had to go into a meeting, and Cheryl said, "Oh, I'll take care of the baby while you go to the meeting." And there are endless stories like that. So I really learned from her the power and the ability to connect with people on a one-on-one basis.
That's so amazing. I mean, like, when leaders set these examples, you get inspired and motivated to follow, right? And that's how you become amazing human beings and leaders in return. So
Yeah.
And similar for you, Kirthiga. Like, I've learned so much from you and your ability to connect with everyone you meet. That's exemplary as well.
For me, people are at the heart of what drives me, what motivates me, so no, I get as much energy as I hope.
Community has been one of the priority words that you have been using throughout what you've been sharing with us. So I think, like, anyone who has community at heart, they will be great with people, right? That's why they're building that community, or they are leading that community, right? So it's always amazing to learn from community leaders.
Such a great point, Swati. And I often find, and even today, by the way, or even maybe 20 years ago, one often, I'm one of those super optimizers. So the amount of time I think, oh my God, this is really the thing I should be doing. Where am I spending my time?
Yeah.
But every time, again, that investment in community has come back to give me so much more than what I gave it. And I'll give you one quick example.
Yeah.
I used to chair the Stanford Business School Management Board. People often ask me, so Kirthiga, how does one become the chair of the Stanford Business School Management Board? And I often tell them, and this is a true story, that it all started with organizing chips and salsa for 3 people. Okay. And it is a true story because actually, right here in Bangalore, I used to be, when I was with Facebook, actually, this was before Facebook, I was the chapter chair for Stanford Business School here in India.
Okay.
And we had 7 people then. So anytime I would organize something, given travels, 3 people would show up. But what happened is, whenever the dean of Stanford Business School would visit, he would spend an enormous amount of time with the chapter chairs.
Okay.
So I got to know him really well, and then he invited me to be on the board, and then to be the vice chair and the chair.
Wow.
So it's in all of our over optimizing worlds, sometimes just leave room for one serendipity to follow your heart, and as
Yeah.
Steve Jobs says, dots connect in the hindsight. And I'd say it's almost more important, especially for women, to make that time, not because just because. I mean, do it in a genuine way on things that you care about, and just know and
Yeah.
trust the universe that it'll come back to what.
Definitely.
And the community that you're building, Swati, is so tremendous and so inspiring to
Thank you.
see. And you don't know how much that matters to people, and the ripple effects are far beyond what you might imagine.
Thank you so much, Kirthiga. That validates to some extent what I am on the quest to do. And it was again serendipity for me as well. It wasn't that I had moved to India, I wanted to start a community, but I saw there was a need and that I needed that community. That's why I started that. And then I'm sure a lot of people are benefiting from it as much as I am from that community. So thank you for that. And Kirthiga, I would love to understand, with so many amazing things that you do every day, every week, every month, how do you evaluate where to invest your time and energy in?
I have a very simple framework. It's about, one, is this something, and I use this whether it's the work that I choose to do, whether it's what I do on the volunteering side, anyone. One, is it a big, bold vision, and one that I can relate to, and get behind and rally behind? Two, is it about working with people that I can learn from every single day? And three, is it an area where I can uniquely bring something that I can be a game changer at? Right? So if all those three things are true, then it's a check for me, right? So and I would say, if I even think about Facebook, right? I came in to run global operations. I actually had never done global operations before, but I believed that given what I had done, the product background that I had, and my passion for the role and the engineering, that I was the best person for the role and I would be a game changer for that role, right?
Yeah.
And compared with the big, bold vision as well as people. When I went to SoftBank, again, I had not done investing professionally before, and here I was. Our minimum check size at that time was 100 million, right? I had done angel investing, and I had started a seed fund with 6 other female Facebook executives called F7. But I had never done that investing before. But still, I felt that given what I knew about technology, about people, that I would be able to bring that skills and then learn whatever I needed to learn. So that's kind of how I use the framework that I use to decide what it is that I want to do.
That is perfect. I think there's so much learning in it. I already have memorized that framework. I'm sure
Awesome.
all of our viewers should memorize the framework. It's a lot of value in terms of how you perceive it and then decide what to do, right? And I'm sure there has been a lot of learning for you throughout your career, the diverse career that you have had. So I would love to understand what has kept you motivated in terms of navigating each and every step of this diverse career.
The first picture that comes to my mind when you ask that question is of my mother. So my mother did not have the opportunity to finish her high school education because her parents said, you only need enough math to do the grocery bill. Right? Because after all, why would a girl child need to know any more math than do the grocery bill? So that was their attitude. But and by the way, her brother got a postgraduate degree. So it wasn't that they didn't know the value of education. And my mother is smarter and wiser than I ever will be. And she still regrets that she did not have the opportunity for education. To see her pride when she sees her daughter on the cover of a Fortune. Or so I think one of my goosebump moments was I was ringing the New York Stock Exchange opening bell for one of our company IPOs, and my mother actually joined us over Zoom. So here was my mother at the New York Stock Exchange, someone who did not have the opportunity to finish her high school education in the epitome of business capitalism in the world, with her daughter and with her granddaughters who were also there on the podium. And it was one of those goosebump moments that just reminded me of the change that is possible in one generation, and also the responsibility that each one of us have to make that much of a difference for the next generation, which also is why, Swati Abhiru, when you said, let's do this, I have my flight out back to the US in a few hours. I said, let's get this going.
So appreciative of that, Kirthiga. Thank you for taking that time.
No, not at all. It's because of what you are doing and how you are leading the community. So it's a testament to you.
You saw in terms of your how your mother didn't get that support, and you made sure that you as a leader are providing that support to the next generation, to your setting that example for your kids. So I'm so appreciative of that, and learning a great deal in terms of how I should be as a leader, and a testament to the society.
I have another framework there for your audience, okay? Which is that when have this picture of someone who's walking, okay? There are people in front of you, people besides you, and people behind you. Okay, that's a very common picture wherever you are. Right? Now, in life and in your career, right? From the people in front of you, use it to seek inspiration and learning. From the people beside you, seek companionship, and from the people for the people behind you, lend them a helping hand.
Amazing.
And the beauty of this picture is that no matter where you are in your journey, whether you're a student, whether you're a rising leader and executive, that story is true always. So no matter where you are, you can seek inspiration, seek companionship, and make the time to lend someone a helping hand.
That is so cool. Thank you for that, Kirthiga. Kirthiga, with you being in India right now, and the AI boom taking over Silicon Valley, and now India is all in, especially Bangalore and HSR layout where we are in. This is the epitome of this is the Silicon. This is called the Silicon Valley of India, right? So, what opportunities do you see for the Indian AI ecosystem at this point? And how do you feel the various entities in terms of the government, in terms of the various communities, how they're enabling this? And what work do you think is still pending in terms of us reaching that level where we're unstoppable?
Swati, I have been blown away by the level of investment, the level of energy around AI in India. Just during this trip to India, I had the opportunity to be the jury for Meta's Pragati AI Hackathon that was done in partnership with Nudge, where we had the very difficult task of picking winners across segments like skilling, agtech, health, education. Right? I saw just phenomenal ideas there. And I also had the opportunity to be the jury at Google's Agentic AI competition, where in Bangalore International Center, we had over 2,000 people selected from a pool of 10,000 who were there hacking away for more than 30 hours.
Wow.
And we had to, again, very difficult task of picking the winners too. Fast forward to today, we this was something that Verix led in terms of bringing more very specialized AI skilling to the country, where for the first time ever in India, we had Vikash Rungta, who was a product manager with the Meta Llama team, has trained over 1,200 product managers there, teachers at Stanford Continuing Studies. We brought him for the first time to India, and we did a course and we had the room full with the most incredible CXOs from big e-commerce, health tech, insurance tech, to startup founders, to members from the academia. So just the energy is mind-boggling. Okay, so I just want to call that how energized I am by that. The opportunity for a country like India is massive, right? And including in all of these areas that I mentioned, right? Health, education, I think are big sectors that are really going to benefit from the whole AI boom. And actually, in the event today, we had members from India AI as well, and to see the focus that's happening at the government level, including the amount of dollars that are kept aside for women entrepreneurs, is all very energizing to see. So I truly believe that this is going to be India's decade, and the whole vision of India being both the AI workforce for the globe, as well as the level of innovation that's going to come from here this is India's decade. So
it is, yeah. And something I'm super excited about, for me to more understand, for the viewers to understand, is about AI Kiran. With all the amazing stuff that you have seen, like that's happening in India in terms of like hackathons, amazing ideas, government doing amazing things, and like the courses that you are enabling, the specialized learning that you and Vikas enabled. First of all, yeah, I love that because I was part of that as well. I was part of the course that Kirthiga mentioned, and it was amazing. The energy, as she mentioned, it was unparalleled. And I would recommend to every leader who wants to upskill them and their teams to attend this certificate course whenever they get the opportunity. So yeah, Kirthiga, in terms of like the inclusivity, the AI landscape in India, you are leading it. I have heard it from CXOs in the Silicon Valley. I hear it from my community members and leaders from Women in Product India about AI Kiran and how it is leading the charge for upskilling for girls and women for like AI in India, right? So please tell us more about this initiative and how like it all started.
Swati, I'm so excited about the AI Kiran movement. AI Kiran is a national initiative that is in partnership with the Principal Scientific Advisor, the Government of India, and with Ink Women Foundation, and a whole army of organizations like NASCOM, like CII, to companies that are backing us. And really, we need every single person listening to be part of this movement, because this is not going to happen without each of you pitching in different ways. And the goal is to empower 1 million women in AI in India. Very concrete goals, 1 million women in AI in India. On paper, we have put it down as a goal by 2028. I, of course, am usually impatient, and my goal is to try to beat that goal
ASAP.
Yeah, exactly. And so to that ASAP point, for example, we partner also with National Innovation Foundation, and they work with 5 lakh schools across the country. And I keep telling them, listen, just 2 girl learners that we can train on AI, that they can then be represent what AI can do for their schools. That itself will get me to a million, right?
Exactly.
So there's no reason why it needs to take that long. But it is a very multidisciplinary, multi-stakeholder community. It has women from academia, women from industry, women in university, high school learners, all the way to a category that I'm very, very proud of, which is the AI contributor category, Swati. And these are women who are doing data labeling, data gathering, prompt engineering, often the unsung heroes of this entire AI revolution happening across the globe.
Yeah.
The goal is to create, one is to recognize them, and Verix contributes the technology for all of the blockchain badging, so that these women can proudly say that they are a woman in AI as recognized by the government of India.
Exactly.
And it goes from there to a 5-pillar approach, which includes the recognition, how do we connect them, education from a technology perspective, which we'll again work with a number of different partners. The growing component, which is not just about technical skills, but how do we help tell their stories, how do we help with communication, fundraising, and that's where our partnership with Ink Women Foundation comes in as well. And the last aspect is a policy shaping aspect. Yeah. So it's a very holistic, comprehensive initiative. We just announced yesterday our first set of AI ambassador and advisory board members. It includes most amazing leaders like Neeti Mehta Shukla, who's
Mhm.
the co-founder of Automation Anywhere, one of the few women leading unicorn companies, to Shweta, who's the co-founder of, is actually the founder of the India Startup Policy Group, to Akash from Akash Education and Sparkle. So, and this is
Wow.
the first of many, many to come.
Yeah.
And again, whether it is CSR dollars that goes to Ink Women Foundation, whether it is, how is it that you can help as mentors? How is it that you want to personally come on board as AI advisors, advisory members for all of these initiatives? We need every single person to be part of this, and definitely nominate women in AI to the community as well.
So excited about this. It has already took off, so I wouldn't say I'm excited about it taking off. But I'm so excited about all of the impact that this will create and the testament it will become in terms of, okay, how to do something really well and do it for social impact, right? So super excited.
Yeah,
about
these
AI
are
Kiran.
women.
Yeah.
What gives me energy is, when I
Yeah.
meet these women, when in these either the small meetups or in online
Exactly.
sessions, and these are women who are literally like changing lives, changing the face of education, sustainability. It is just goosebumps to meet these
Definitely.
women across different stages, and to give a platform, to give them wings is
Yeah.
phenomenal. And we want them to be represented on global stages. How can we have them be at Davos? How can we be at South by Southwest? How can they be
Amazing,
at
yeah.
World Economic Forum? So that is the globe. That is the
Yeah.
ambition.
I mean, like, as much as you need positive mentors, you need those positive sponsors, which I feel like AI Kiran is set out to be. So thank you for doing that. And thanks. Like, I met your amazing team. They're doing such a great job. And I'm here. The Women in Product India team is here to back you up in any way possible. So,
let's do this.
yes.
Yes. Again, we today are looking at the gender equity gap standing at 130 plus years, according to World Economic Forum. Now, longevity innovations aside, I'm not going to see that close in my lifetime, but what I can do in my lifetime is make sure that we leave no stone unturned to make sure that women are there first. It's so important for people to be there first, because if not, again, we're going to end up with that kind of a gap. So let's do everything we can to make sure that we don't get into the same AI equity gap, because the stakes
Because
are
right
much
now
higher.
it is ground level for everyone.
Everyone.
This is the time to not let that gap seep into
Totally.
this.
Right? And I will also acknowledge that sometimes it feels scary. Even as a technologist myself, the pace of change feels overwhelming. And the imposter syndrome, like people coming into the class today, there were people who came and said, as I came in, I had the imposter syndrome. There's so much happening. Am I going to be the one who knows it? And they said it was so comforting to be in this safe space to ask questions at any level, right? And so find that community. It might start with just 10 minutes, whether you're in, no matter, again, what stage you are, what industry you are, to just learn what's going on in that space, experiment with a few different tools. And I promise you, you will be further ahead than 99% of the population. We really need everyone to be leaning into this technology at this time.
Definitely. And I'm so grateful for your vision and leadership. Always can't say that enough. So thank you, Kirthiga.
No, and thank you for the partnership, because none of this happens without
the community coming together. So
totally.
definitely. So Kirthiga, what we'll do, we'll wrap up
Okay.
this amazing podcast, which I have I don't want to leave. I want to keep learning, understanding more about your journey. But we'll wrap up this podcast with a short rapid fire.
All right.
I will ask really interesting questions, which I'm sure everyone is eager to listen to. Cool. So the first question is a book that every founder should read.
So many books come to mind. So many books come to mind.
Okay, we'll make it easy. 3. Top 3.
I would actually just go back to 0 to 1 from Peter Thiel. So we'll stick to 1.
Okay,
yes.
Cool.
Okay, but if you give me 2, I will do Winning by Jack Welch. Okay. And there he talks about using the power of voice as the 8. It's like the 8th habit of highly effective people. And so everybody know that your voice matters more than you think is possible. So use your voice to fight for the causes that you care about, fight for initiatives that you care about, people that you care about.
Yeah.
Things might not happen at the time that you want, but it actually does happen.
So that's
so
perfect.
those are two.
Thank you. Second question. One piece of advice that you live by.
One piece of advice that I live by. I would say it's about the power of the big, bold vision. Life is too short. If you don't, I would urge everyone to dream big. And if your dreams don't scare you, you're not living up to your potential.
Yeah.
I have this practice that I actually picked up from my Facebook Meta days that and I strongly encourage this for everyone. Like even now, like sit down and think about, visualize that is December 31st of 2025 and write out, this is the end of the year. I look back on this happening personally and this happening professionally.
Yeah.
They say that if you write it down, it's 47% more likely to happen. So why wouldn't you take the odds of just a simple act of thinking about it and writing it down?
Amazing.
And if you share it, the odds add up even more. So it's a practice I've had, so much so that I've also started doing big, bold visions for many things. I'm in India. What is it that I'm going to look back on? It just helps manifest.
If you had to bet on one AI use case in India, what would that be?
I am going to go with learning and edtech and personalized learning. And because it goes back to...
Is it just like AI learning or any sort of learning enabled
any
by
sort
AI?
of learning
Okay.
enabled by AI.
Awesome.
Enabled by AI.
Okay.
I'm like, I mentioned Akash, who's one of our AI ambassadors. His company Sparkles is using AI-enabled personalized education.
Okay.
Given the level of, whether it's languages, whether it is the different subjects, the different ambitions that people have, how is it that you can have personalized learning that is really tailored for them? So I'm very, very excited about that.
Yeah. Final question. What do you do to unwind?
What do I do to unwind? I am a runner.
Okay.
I've usually always signed up for a next half marathon. My next one is October 5th at Napa.
Okay, wow.
And so that's my next one. I also just like adventure. So I've hiked the Mount Everest base camp twice, once with a friend, once with my daughter. And I do also have a chocolate lab whose name is Nado. Okay. It's short for Tornado, and he has his own Instagram page at Tornado Reddy. So
Tornado Reddy?
Yes.
Okay. Guys, check out Tornado Reddy. Cool. All right.
And my two girls, they keep me grounded and they give me a lot of energy. And I wouldn't be here if not for our incredibly supportive husband. And for all of the women watching, actually for anyone, this advice is applicable. The most important career decision that you make is not the job, the industry, it is actually the partner that you choose. So if your partner's eyes light up when you talk about your career ambition, know that this is a partner that you need to double down on.
Yeah, no, that's perfect. No, thank you, Kirthiga. It was so lovely having you on the podcast, learning through your journey. And I'm so excited about all of the amazing things that you're doing. And already looking forward to the next time you visit India.
No, it's been great it's great to be here, and the momentum and the pace of India has truly just brought me back. I think I've lost count. My uncle says, you seem to be like visiting India as though you're going from San Jose to San Francisco. But the energy here is unreal, and a piece of my heart is always here.
Amazing.
Thank you for having me.
Of course.
And I'm so excited to see all that you will be doing between now and the next time we meet.
Same. Thank you.
All right.
It's a wrap. Thank you.
All right.